Part 6, we're writing the formulas of the given atoms when they combine. And so the key to this when writing the formulas is they need to be neutral. That means you need to have the same amount of positive charge and negative charge in order to make the equation. So number 37 is easy. We have a positive one and a negative one. Those are going to balance each other out, make a net force of 0, so we don't need to make any changes, so we can just write KBr. For 38, this is where we have to do a little bit of thinking. So if we have a positive 1 and a negative 2, we need to figure out what we can do here to get it to 0. So we can't just take away a charge from this oxygen, because oxygen will always be a -2 anion. So what we need to do is we need to match it with lithium. To get this this positive 1 to match the -2, we need to add a second lithium atom. When you look at it this way, we have lithium 2, so when we have 2 lithium, that's going to be 2 times the positive 1 charge, which will then make this overall atom, a positive 2 charge. So we would have Li2O. This one is very similar, but now we have a positive 2 charge and a negative 1 charge. So we need to do the same thing, but with our anion. To get a negative 1 charge to match a positive 2 charge, we're going to need to add a second chlorine atom. We're going to take 2 times -1 equals -2. So now we have positive 2, -2. That cancels out, net force of 0. So our equation will be CaCl2. 40 gets a little bit trickier. These don't add up perfectly, so you have to do a little bit more thinking for these ones. You need to find the lowest common denominator. The way you would do that is you're just going to kind of switch them around. So we would take aluminum times 2 to get a positive 6 charge, and sulfur times 3 to get a -6 charge. So what I did here is I looked at the 3 and the 2, and I tried to figure out what's their lowest common number they have in common that they both can go into. That would be 6, so I turned it into a positive 6 and a negative switch. You can also think of it as just sort of switching. So up here we did the same thing. We switched, this one was 1, this one turned into 2. Up here we took the 1 from the lithium, so oxygen became 1, and then we took the 2 from the oxygen and lithium became 2. So our resultant formula would be Al2S3. 41, easy, 2 plus, 2 minus. That cancels out really nice. FeS, don't need to make any changes. 42, we have the same thing, so positive 1, negative 1. So this is a polyatomic ion. This whole thing has a charge of -1. So we would have Na and O3. 43, our charges don't match, so we need to figure out what we're going to do. SO4 has a -2 charge. Na has a +1. So to get there, you can think of it as flip-flopping, so we're going to take the 2 put it here. The 1, we don't need to do anything. So we would have Na2, SO4. So 2 times positive 1 would have a positive 2 charge. Those cancel out. NH4, positive 1, CO3, negative 2. So this is here another sort of tricky thing about writing polyatomic ions. When you have multiple atoms of a polyatomic ion, you need to put them in parentheses because that means you're doing 2 of the entire polyatomic ion. So we need 2 NH4s. 2 times positive 1 makes positive 2 charge. Then CO3 negative 2, those are going to cancel out nicely. So we have it in parentheses because this tells us our entire polyatomic ion, we need 2 of them. And then CO3. 45, we have iron, 3 positive, CrO, 4, that's going to be a negative 2. So we just need to do a little bit of flip-flopping. We're going to take the 2 here, put it there. Then we're going to take the 3 from the iron. We have a polyatomic ion, so we need to make sure we tripled the entire thing, so parentheses, and then the 3. So our resultant charges, positive 3 times 2 plus 6 charge, negative 2 times 3, negative 6 charge. So that's going to cancel out. So you'd have Fe2, and then parentheses, because remember we need to change the whole polyatomic ion, CrO4, and then we're having 3 of those polyatomic ions. Al3 plus, PO4 3 minus, easy peasy, those cancel out, no needed extra work. Al, PO4. Hopefully that helped with some of these ones. If you had any questions, if there's still any confusion, you can come in before after school during flex and we can come up with some more problems and work through it together if you feel like you need some extra help with this.